At just 7 years old, Hayley Sly has her daily dental routine down to a science.
So I set a 2-minute timer on my watch and I brush lots of different ways. I don't spit. That's what the dentist said. Don't rinse out, but just spit, because it's good to leave some toothpaste on your teeth.
She has a go at brushing first, then I'll have a go at brushing for her, and then she has another go at brushing as well. So we've still got the adults helping, which is really good.
Hayley and her mum Bronwyn thought they were ticking all the boxes. So when Hayley began experiencing not just 1 but 3 nasty toothaches, it came as a very unwelcome surprise.
Come on in.
It wasn't really the nicest thing to have because it was constantly hurting when I bit.
Keep you nice and clean.
Yeah. We were able to get an emergency dental appointment, and that's when he let us know that she does in fact need fillings and she has holes in her teeth.
Hayley's an interesting sort of a case. She was doing most things right. Her teeth were pretty clean, and I got the impression that the diet was basically pretty good too. She was one of those kiddies who just did not deserve to get tooth decay. And the thought crossed my mind, gee, if she'd been living down in Melbourne, she just wouldn't have the decay that she did.
Hayley and Bronwyn live in Mansfield, a small town in the foothills of the Victorian Alps that doesn't have access to fluoridated water.
We've known for a long time that fluoride hardens up teeth, and it works topically. The teeth get wet with fluoride water, they absorb the mineral, and that means the enamel is just a lot stronger, much more resistant to the acid attack that occurs when plaque builds up. Brushing on the outside is actually pretty easy at the front, it gets a bit harder at the back.
Dentist Mark Knapp moved to Mansfield from Melbourne 7 years ago. Since relocating, he's been treating decay in baby teeth twice as often as he did in the city.
It's fun interacting with kids, it's fun treating them, but it's not fun having to give injections, not fun having to drill. The worst thing that we have to do is take out teeth. Sometimes there's simply no alternative. If we don't take out teeth, there's going to be ongoing pain. It's upsetting for the patient, it's upsetting for the family, and it's certainly no pleasure for the dentist. It's in fact quite traumatic for the dentist.
Unfortunately, this experience isn't exclusive to one town. A recent study conducted by La Trobe University's Dr Virginia Dickson-Swift shows that thousands of Victorian children are suffering the same dental disadvantages.
I wanted to explore which towns had water fluoridation and which towns didn't. So I began by looking at towns over 1,000 population. And the reason I did that was because the National Oral Health Plan says that towns over 1,000 population, they recommend have water fluoridation. So I explored the census data and looked at the water fluoridation status. The key findings were that we have still about 33% of towns in rural Victoria that are over 1,000 population don't have access to water fluoridation.
Over 50% of children in these towns have above state average rates of decayed, missing and filled teeth. Even more alarming, the rate of dental hospitalisations for these kids is nearly 3 times Victoria's average.
I visited some of the rural towns and I found out about the fact that on a Wednesday there's a general anaesthetic list at the public hospital, and that list comprises mostly of children, young children, who are having their teeth extracted for dental caries, so dental decay, something that's totally preventable, and I found that quite shocking.
I feel like it's not fair because then I have to put up with having sore teeth until we can go to the dentist and get them filled up.
I had heard about fluoride not being in our water, but I wasn't aware of the extent of the effects it had on children's teeth especially, but on everyone's teeth. No one wants to see their children hurt or in pain, so it was frustrating as well. It's not something that we want to happen to anyone, really. A lot of people don't know about this. They don't know that fluoride isn't included in our water, and they don't know what to do to counteract that issue.
There are things that families can do to go that extra mile to protect the teeth. There are supplements. There are extra strong, call them industrial strength toothpastes. So families can take these extra steps to look after the teeth, to harden up the enamel, but they just really shouldn't have to.
The decision as to which towns are going to be fluoridated and which towns are not are one that's made by the state government, and towns don't get to, say we would like water fluoridation. They could say that, but that doesn't mean that they're going to get it because the funding is not readily available. Metropolitan areas predominantly have water fluoridation. Many rural towns don't, and that creates a real inequity between those that live in the city and those that live in the bush. The best outcome we could have is that rural towns do have water fluoridation and that the plants are installed in a timely manner. And I think if we could get 5 towns fluoridated in the next 5 years, that would be a wonderful outcome, but it comes down to funding and political will.